Hi, I'm Andy Wilson. I'm the game director for Bodycount. It's a Codemasters Guildford Studio production, and you're watching Platform 32.
Have any of you guys ever played Black? It was an awesome first-person shooter for the PS2 and original Xbox, and I loved it. It was one of the first FPS games to go nuts with environmental destruction. The whole game felt like an insane action movie, and the emphasis on weaponry meant it was labelled as gun porn by the developers. But why am I talking about Black? It's old, man! Well, a large portion of the Black team have been locked away at Codemasters Guildford for a couple of years now, working on Black's spiritual successor, Bodycount, and I was lucky enough to get a hands-on with the game at E3. Look, that's me playing the game right there, right then. After playing through a whole mission full of ultra-violence, mega carnage and super scenery destruction, I even found time to grab an interview with Andy Wilson, the senior producer of Bodycount, so he could make you just as excited as I am about the game. Go, Andy!
Bodycount is a game that's all about the guns, it's all about the weapons, and it's about the effect that those weapons have on the world around you. So it's about a shreddable FPS where you use shredding and shreddable cover in a tactical way, and in a very fast-paced arcade game. The story of Bodycount, we've got this idea that you're this combat adept guy, former forces, you've been recruited into an organisation known as the Network, and you're going in to fight the good fight in these various conflict situations around the world. You've become aware, part of the way through the first act, that actually there's another faction involved, and that's where we kind of introduce the real threat within the game. It's an organisation known as the Target, a very brutal counterpoint to the Network, this sort of polar opposite of what they're all about. And then the rest of the game is about a sort of three-way fight between the Target and two different factions within the game, and the player in the middle of it all. Bodycount's a really action-packed game. We're trying to capture that 80s action movie vibe, so the stunt, that's the very elaborate. You can blow a guy through a shreddable wall with a shotgun, you can send him flying 30 metres with a grenade blast. It's all about feeling the power of those weapons and the arsenal that you've got at your disposal, and it's about having fun. It's about an arcade experience. It's not grim, gritty, real-world shooter or some kind of military sim. It's having fun in an arcade game is kind of our main aim.
Awesome, so Bodycount totally follows the same ethos as Black in terms of action. Nice! You might have heard Andy mention shredding just then, and I feel I have to point out that the shredding he's talking about isn't something you do with a guitar. Oh no. In Bodycount, shredding is the term given to the way your weaponry tears away at the environments you play in. Cover doesn't last long in this game, but is Bodycount just copying the Battlefield series when it comes to destruction?
Destruction in Bodycount is not about bringing down buildings, it's not about huge set pieces that you just sort of watch from the background. It's about how you use it in a tactical sense. So cover in the game is very degradable, and what that means is that enemies can't just hide behind indestructible blocks all the way through the game. You can actually drill through to get at them, but then they can do the same to you. So basically what that means is you get a very fast-paced gameplay where the players kept moving and you're keeping the AI moving all the way through. On top of that, you can use things like walls within buildings, doorways, window frames, things like that. Drill through all of those things to outflank your opponents, or just even find somewhere to hold up if you're taking a lot of damage.
Yep, shredding looks great, and if you use it tactically, it really improves the gameplay experience and keeps you on your feet. Trouble is, you're not the only one who can shred. The enemies can too, and at one point I hid from a heavy class enemy behind a building, and he pretty much terminated his way through the walls to hunt me down and kill me. Scary stuff, but bloody exciting. Codemasters haven't just taken destruction up a notch with shredding though, they've also found a way to implement a new type of cover system into the game. Tell us more, Andy! We must know what it is!
Coverline in Bodycount is an attempt to introduce a cover system for an FPS that doesn't involve just sticking to bits of scenery. So you pull the left trigger down, keep that held down, you retain a full range of movement on both of the analog sticks whilst being rooted to the spot. So it allows you to peek around and above cover without having to actually slide out into the path of gunfire. It also allows you to make use of the cover as it's degrading, so as all the little holes are opening up, you can sort of peek through and actually fire through the cover at your enemies. So it's a great tactical gameplay device.
Again, I was loving this new cover system. It took a little while to get used to, but once I got to grips with it, I was surprised by how effective it was. The ability to lean in and out while still firing gave me a great feeling of bullet dodging. It really brought a smile to my face. It just felt right. Now, I mentioned before about a heavy class of enemy hunting me down, but there were many other types of enemy AI. What types of troops will be troubling us in Bodycount?
We've got various class-based AI within the game. It's all about how we combine different types of AI, different classes together, and how they react with each other, and particularly with the different factions fighting each other as well, that dictates the gameplay experience. So we've got things like medics who can revive fallen soldiers, scavengers who'll steal intel, which is the game's currency, heavy tank classes, snipers, shotgun soldiers. We've got explosive troops who will actually detonate themselves when they get close to you. And then on top of that, we've got 3 different factions with 3 different fighting styles and 3 different behaviour types. So all of that leads to a huge amount of variety within the AI.
Lovely stuff. But FPS games ain't complete without some damn good multiplayer modes, whether that be competitive or cooperative. Will Bodycount be representing for the multiplayer massive?
We've got multiplayer in Bodycount, so we've got deathmatch and team deathmatch as the core competitive modes. The reason we've gone for that is that is what everybody plays, and we wanted to really focus on sort of honing those 2 modes and using the shredding to actually change how a deathmatch feels. So you've got things like over a 10-minute deathmatch with an environment that starts very pristine and with very few lines of sight throughout that environment. Over 10 minutes or so in a deathmatch, it degrades at such a rate that you get lines of sight opening up through 4, 5, even 6 rooms within a building, which completely changes the gameplay even within a single match. On top of that, we've actually got a bespoke co-op mode as well. So co-op is all about wave attacks for us. So we put you in quite tight arenas, 2-player co-op situation, and then we send in waves of AI. And the reason we've chosen that is because it lets us combine those different AI classes together in the waves and give you a different experience from just a regular horde mode where you're getting tons of the same types of characters chucked at you. It's how, again, we combine that AI in the different classes together.
So it's great news that Bodycount is staying simplistic in its approach to action. Codies would rather make the gunplay and destruction as perfect as possible rather than concentrating on jamming in as many extra game modes onto the disc as they can, and that's fine by me. If Bodycount can live up to its promises, and from what I played in LA it's certainly close, this will be another dose of gun porn that FPS junkies like me will not want to miss. So, when's it out, Andy?
Bodycount is out for the 360 and the PS3, and it's coming out at the end of August this year.
End of August? Whoa, that's less than a month. Mark my words, I'll be body counting the days until its release. Oh, I'd make myself sick.